Which original Pokémon did Game Freak remember? Okay, so that's the video title, I guess. Hey, it's me, Poke, and today's topic is, what original 151 Pokémon did Game Freak remember? Now, I know this might sound like ManJTV's every original Pokémon Game Freak forgot, but here's the thing. I flipped the idea. Plus, that video was like 3 years ago, and some Pokémon have actually been shown some love by Game Freak since then. So yeah, I'm here with the updated take. Before we get into the list, I need to clarify something. I won't be counting first stage or middle stage evolutions, even if they got something cool in later generations. I know that would make the video longer, and honestly, a bit more chaotic. But there are exceptions. Obviously, I'll be covering a few first stagers like Pikachu, Meowth, and Eevee, and some middle stagers like Clefairy and Jigglypuff. Because, let's face it, they're more than just regular Pokémon. They're like the 5 unofficial mascots of the franchise. Now, for a Pokémon to be considered remembered by Game Freak, it must have received at least one of these after its debut generation. 1, a new evolution. 2, a pre-evolution. Yeah, I get it's not a power boost, but still, it means they were remembered. 3, Mega Evolution. 4, an exclusive Z move. Super rare. 5, a Gigantamax form. 6, a new secondary type. 7, a completely changed type. 8, a paradox form. 9, some kind of special form. 10, or a regional variant, like Alolan, Galarian, Hisuian, or Paldean. That's the rulebook for this video. If a final stage Pokémon, or one of the mascot tier ones, got any of those in a different generation than the one they were introduced in, we're calling that Game Freak remembered them. Wait, I forgot to say something. There's also this thing called cross-evolution, and yeah, it's complicated. If a Pokémon didn't get anything itself, but its pre-evolution got a totally separate evolution, that doesn't count at all for the original final evolution. That just means the pre-evo got some love. So nope, cross-evolution doesn't mean the original final form was remembered. Also, just so this doesn't feel like your average list-style video with dry commentary, I'll actually be talking about each Pokémon in this lineup. Not just what they got, but also my honest thoughts. Did they deserve it? Did they need more? And if they got nothing, was that fair, or did they actually deserve something? And one more thing, we're not counting normal Z moves, Dynamax, or Terastallization, because every Pokémon in those games can use them. We're only counting the exclusive stuff, actual signs that Game Freak remembered a specific Pokémon. Let's see which of the OGs got what. Let's see which Pokémon got what. 1, Venusaur, Mega Venusaur, and Gigantamax Venusaur. Yup, no surprise here. It's one of the 3 Kanto starters and the very first entry in the National Dex. Game Freak was definitely not forgetting this one, and I'd say it deserved both of those upgrades. 2, Charizard, 2 Mega Evolutions, X and Y, plus Gigantamax Charizard. Yeah, okay, I get it. Charizard is crazy popular, but let's be honest, 2 Megas feels like overkill when the other starters didn't even get that. Still, I won't complain about the Gigantamax, at least Venusaur and Blastoise got that too. It evens things out a little. 3, Blastoise, Mega and Gigantamax both, same as Venusaur. And honestly, that's fair. Blastoise is also a Kanto starter and has always had a strong fan base. The love it got feels balanced, remembered but not overdone. 4, Butterfree, Gigantamax Butterfree. Now that was unexpected. I mean, we all thought Butterfree would just fade into the background, but nope. It's iconic in its own way, especially from the anime. And with Beedrill getting a Mega, this was a nice way to balance it out. 5, Beedrill. Speaking of Beedrill, Mega Beedrill is one of those whoa, seriously moments from Game Freak. But I liked it. Beedrill always had potential, and giving it a Mega made it feel relevant again. Though yeah, could have used slightly better stats to go with the design. 6, Pidgeot, Mega Pidgeot. That one just makes sense. It's one of those early route birds, super nostalgic, and honestly, it deserved some kind of spotlight. I'm not overhyped about it, but I'm glad it wasn't forgotten. 7, Raticate. Alolan Raticate is a perfect example of giving just enough without overdoing it. Let's be real, Raticate was never going to get a Mega or a flashy gimmick, so a regional variant that adds Dark typing is a smart move. It fits thematically too. Bite is one of its signature moves, and now it actually feels right as a Dark type. Solid choice, well remembered. 8, Fearow, one of the early route birds, and totally forgotten. Game Freak gave Pidgeot a Mega, but Fearow? Nothing. Not even a Gigantamax form or a new typing. There was potential here, maybe a speed-focused Mega or a unique Flying Steel form? But nope, Fearow got left in the dust. 9. Arbok. This one stings a bit. It was part of Team Rocket's legacy just like Weezing, yet Weezing got a Galarian form and Arbok got nothing. It would have been cool to see different patterns or regional variants for Arbok, almost like real snakes with region-specific markings. But Game Freak never explored that, which is a big missed opportunity. 10. Here we go. The mascot of the franchise. Pikachu got everything you could imagine: cosplay forms, cap variants tied to the anime, 2 exclusive Z moves, Gigantamax form, dedicated games like Let's Go Pikachu and Yellow. Love it or not, Pikachu is the face of Pokémon, and Game Freak will never let anyone forget it. At this point, if someone still says Pikachu is underused, they might just be joking or working at Game Freak. 11. Raichu. Alolan Raichu is pretty cool, and its signature Z move gives it its own little spotlight. But yeah, being Pikachu's evolution is a tough role. It got remembered, sure, just not as loudly. Makes sense though, Pikachu's shadow is just that big. 12. Sandslash. Alolan Sandslash works really well. The Ice-Steel typing is unique, and visually it looks great. Sandslash is one of those Pokémon where a Mega might have felt weird, so giving it a variant was a clean and effective choice. 13 and 14. Nidoqueen and Nidoking. These two always come as a pair, so if you give something to one, the other has to get it too. But Game Freak gave neither of them anything. No Mega, no regional form, no Paradox. If they were made in Gen 4, they'd probably be like Glalie and Frozlass, parallel evolutions from the same base. But instead, they're stuck without any post-launch love, and it's genuinely surprising. 15.1. Clefairy. Got a pre-evolution in Gen 2, Cleffa. That's something, and it shows Clefairy was at least on Game Freak's mind beyond Gen 1. 15.2. Clefable. Now here's a bold move. Clefable didn't just gain a new typing, it had its normal type replaced by Fairy. That's a big deal. It's likely because of the Moon lore. Clefairy and Clefable are always tied to cosmic stuff, and Fairy fits that mystical lunar theme. Definitely remembered. 16. Ninetales. Alolan Ninetales is beautiful. The Ice Fairy typing is such a glow-up from Fire, and its design is one of the cleanest regional variants ever made. Sometimes Game Freak just nails it, and this is one of those times. 17. Jigglypuff. It got Screamtail, one of the Paradox Pokémon, and also has the baby Igglybuff. So Jigglypuff has representation both in nostalgia and in modern mechanics. Not every Pokémon can say that. It might not be Pikachu level remembered, but it's clearly in Game Freak's good books. 18. Wigglytuff gained Fairy typing in Gen 6, which honestly helped a lot. Normal type Pokémon don't get much love, but making Wigglytuff normal Fairy added some value to it. It's not a huge change, but it is something. And that's enough to say it was remembered. 19. Golbat. Getting Crobat in Gen 2 was huge, and it still holds up today. Crobat's fast, useful, and cool. But yeah, maybe one more thing wouldn't hurt. A regional Golbat or Crobat? A special form? Still, getting a powerful evolution is a win. 20. Now this is a weird one. Gloom got Bellossom in Gen 2, but Vileplume didn't get anything. That's the whole issue with cross-evolutions. When the branch splits off, the original evolution line can feel left behind. Vileplume could have used a Mega or Gigantamax to catch up, but sadly, Game Freak just moved on without it. 21. Parasect. No gimmick form, no evolution, not even a special ability, but somehow Legends Arceus gave us the absolute horror that is Alpha Parasect. That thing alone made Parasect feel threatening again. Still, an evolution where the mushroom fully takes over could be both cool and creepy. A Psychic-type twist would have made perfect lore sense. 22. Venomoth. This one really deserved something. Venomoth has always been on the edge of forgotten status, and Game Freak just let it slip further. A Mega Evolution would have easily fixed that. Plus, with so many bugs getting upgrades in newer gens, leaving Venomoth behind feels unfair. 23. Dugtrio. They gave it hair. That's it. Alolan Dugtrio technically counts as a regional variant, but it doesn't really do anything special besides the typing change. Could have been cooler, like a Rock Tunnel-themed variant or a swarm of Dugtrios, but they went with hair. 24. Now, this is what remembered looks like. 2 regional forms and a Gigantamax? That's more than most fully evolved Pokémon got. Meowth is basically Game Freak's side mascot at this point, and all this love proves it. Totally deserved too. Meowth has been relevant from day one thanks to the anime. 25. Alolan Persian was controversial. Many didn't like the design, and Persian's crit nerf in Gen 2 already pushed it out of favor. Then Galarian Meowth went on to evolve into an entirely different Pokémon, Berserker. Persian wasn't ignored, but it wasn't celebrated either. 26. Golduck. Still nothing. Golduck has psychic vibes in its design, Pokédex, and even its anime moments, but no secondary psychic typing. No form, no gimmick, nothing. It's one of the biggest missed opportunities in the original 151. Still nothing. 27. Primeape. And then, boom. Scarlet and Violet gave Primeape an absolute banger of an evolution, Annihilate. Fighting Ghost is such a powerful creative combo. It took years, but Primeape finally got the glow-up it deserved. 28. Arcanine. The Pokémon that was almost a legendary ended up with just a regional variant, Hisuian Arcanine. Don't get me wrong, it looks cool, but for a Pokémon with that much lore weight behind it, it deserved more. A Mega could have easily cemented its legendary aura. 29. Poliwrath. Poliwhirl got options. It got Politoed as a cross-evolution, while Poliwrath got left behind. As I said, cross-evolutions being a big issue. Red's first Pokémon in Pokémon Adventures, a Gen 1 staple, and still no Mega, no G-Max, no special typing. A Mega Poliwrath could have been perfect for the fighting water niche. I mean, Politoed also got nothing. 30. Alakazam. Got a Mega, and it's great. It fits the Psychic Glass Cannon identity perfectly. But yeah, compared to Gengar, who got both Mega and Gigantamax, Alakazam feels slightly behind. Still, at least it got something strong. 31. Macamp. This one was unexpected. Instead of a Mega, it got a Gigantamax form. And to be fair, G-Max Macamp looks amazing. It makes sense lore-wise too. Machamp's all about muscles and raw power, which Gigantamax really emphasizes. 32. Victreebel. For years, nothing. Not even a small form change, but finally, it's getting justice. Mega Victreebel arrives in Pokémon Legends ZA with a swollen acid-filled body and a sickly sweet scent that can melt through steel. This grass poison type now looks more terrifying than ever. 33. Tentacruel Paldea gave us Toedscruel, which looks like Tentacruel, but is actually unrelated. Tentacruel didn't get a form, a move, or a buff. This one's stuck in limbo. Not quite forgotten, but not really remembered either. If Persian got a variant and a counterpart, Tentacruel could have too. 34. Golem Alolan Golem added electric typing and magnets, which was a cool surprise. But considering how much trait evolution Pokémon like Gengar and Alakazam got, it's weird that Golem didn't receive a Mega or Gigantamax. The design had potential for more than just a beard. 35. Rapidash Galarian. Rapidash looks great. Fairy typing was a fresh twist, and the pastel unicorn aesthetic was an instant hit. It fits Rapidash's graceful nature while also giving it a competitive edge. Game Freak made the right call here. 36. Slowbro. Now, this is how you treat a Pokémon right. Slowbro got a Mega Evolution, a Galarian form, and even shares a cross-evo path with Slowking through Slowpoke. It's like Game Freak couldn't decide which one to focus on, so they just gave us all of it. Slowbro's been remembered well, and honestly, it deserves it. Its quirky design and psychic type identity just work. People love this guy. 37. Magneton. Magnezone was already a nice surprise back in Gen 4, and then Scarlet and Violet gave us Sandy Shocks, a paradox version of Magneton. Never in a million years did I expect that, but hey, it totally fits. Proof that Game Freak's still willing to explore the weird corners of Gen 1. 38. Farfetch'd. Finally got a second shot thanks to Galarian Farfetch'd, and then came Sirfetch'd. Honestly, that was the best way they could have handled it. It kept the sword-wielding duck idea but added power, personality, and purpose. Great call all around. 39. Dodrio. Totally forgotten, and that's just unfair. Dodrio has such a cool, unique design and still got absolutely nothing. No form, no evolution, not even a fun little gimmick or new typing. Yeah, it got that Dodrio berry-picking minigame back in Fire Red Leaf Green, but that wasn't nearly enough. They could have gone wild with something like Dodquad or leaned into its bizarre energy, but they didn't even try. 40. Dugong. Here's the thing. Dugong feels too normal, and maybe that's why Game Freak never touched it. But that's exactly why it needed something. A regional form based on another kind of seal? A unique ice-type move? Even just a Z move? Literally anything would have helped it pop a little more. 41. Alolan Muck was colorful. And fun fact, its shiny and base forms are actually a neat reversal of the original Kantonian Muck's base and shiny colors. Same goes for Grimer. Even though Muck isn't overflowing with untapped design potential, Alolan Muck stood out, visually and in battle. Weird, but in a way that worked. 42. Cloyster. Completely ignored. And that sucks, because Cloyster's got such an intense, aggressive design, perfect for a Mega or some wild form. But nope, no gimmick, no love. Feels like Game Freak actively avoided it, maybe even because of some unfortunate meme associations with Onix. Who knows? 43. Gengar. Mega Gengar. Gigantamax Gengar. Yeah, he got it all. And honestly, he earned it. Gengar is iconic. Creepy, cool, strong, and a total fan favorite. Ash's Gengar in the anime had its own flavor too. Not gonna lie, he's my favorite. So maybe I'm a little biased. But hey, if any ghost type deserved all that love, it's Gengar. 44. Onix got an evolution, Steelix, and then Steelix got a Mega. That's a solid deal. But I get the complaint. Steelix kind of ditched the rock serpent vibe and went full metal. The rock part of Onix's identity just disappeared. Still, a giant steel snake? Hard to be mad about that. 45. Technically got nothing new. But people do remember it. Just not in the way you'd want. Between the creepy Pokédex entries and that Lost Stell side quest in Fire Red / Leaf Green, Hypno ended up more of a horror icon than anything. It really could have used a psychic ghost form to double down on that spooky lore. Instead, it just lingers in eerie YouTube videos and Pokémon that shouldn't exist lists. 46. Kingler. Honestly, I didn't think Kingler would get anything either, but that Gigantamax form? It's clean. The massive foamy beard, those crabby spikes, it just works. It might not be a game changer in battle, but from a design perspective, Kingler got remembered just enough. 47. Electrode. People love to joke that Electrode is just a flipped Pokeball with anger issues. But then, boom, Hisuian Electrode shows up with a whole new look. Wooden ball, grass typing, more personality than ever. It's cool that Game Freak gave it a twist instead of ignoring it completely. Exeggutor. Alolan Exeggutor was one of the first regional variants, and easily one of the funniest. That long neck? Iconic. And yeah, the Kantonian Exeggutor doesn't eat enough joke is hilarious, but the real reason is clearly the climate and environment change. Still, Alola made Exeggutor memorable again. 49. Marowak. Alolan Marowak is one of the best regional forms in terms of concept. Fire, ghost typing, sleek design, signature move, what could go wrong? Well, the move situation did. Shadow Bone is its signature move, learned at level 27, but Cubone evolves into Alolan Marowak at level 28 at night. So you can't get the move naturally unless you teach it later via Move Tutor. That's just poor planning. Great design, messy execution. 50. Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. They got Tyrogue as a baby evolution and Hitmontop as a third split evo. It's decent, but still feels like they got left behind. They've been around since Gen 1 and still haven't gotten anything flashy. No exclusive Z move, no form. Hitmonleum Z and Hitmonchanium Z would have sounded hilarious. Yeah, but at least it would have made them feel relevant again. 51. Lickitung. I totally forgot Lickitung was even part of the original 151, which says a lot. But Game Freak did remember, and Lickilicky was born. It's weird, it's round, it's got a lot of tongue, but hey, Lickitung finally got the attention it needed. Weezing. Galarian Weezing is a W. The Top Hat Chimneys, the Smog Fairy vibe, it's creative and fun. Weezing deserved something new and got it, and the fresh design really helped it stand out in Sword and Shield. 53. Rhyperior is strong, but it doesn't always feel like a natural evolution of Rhydon. The color shift, the bulky armor, it's a big leap. Rhydon kind of turns into a tank, which is cool, but makes the line feel disconnected. Still, Rhydon did get remembered. Also, fun fact, you probably already know this, but Rhydon was the first Pokemon ever designed. 50. Chansey has been relevant forever. With Happiny as a pre-evo and Blissey as an evolution, the line feels complete. And yeah, especially in older games like Diamond and Pearl, battling a Chansey was a nightmare. Special defense for days. But you can't deny, it's far from forgotten. I'm telling you, never run into a Chansey or Blissey in Diamond and Pearl. That painfully slow HP bar still haunts and bores me at the same time. 55. Tangela. Tangela was one of those Pokemon that totally faded into the background. Until Gen 4, Tangrowth gave it some real power and presence. Finally, all that Vinny nonsense meant something. It deserved it. 56. Mega Kangaskhan was the right call. Gigantamax just wouldn't have fit the concept the same way. But let's be honest, the design was a bit lazy. The baby just hops out of the pouch and starts throwing hands. That's it. Still, the ability Parental Bond was terrifying, basically doubling the damage output. Now that Mega Evolution is returning in Legends ZA but without abilities, yeah, that broken effect is history. 57. Kingdra was a solid addition. Seadra needed something to push it forward, and the Dragon typing made Kingdra stand out. No complaints here. This one was well-deserved. 58. Seeking. Got nothing. This one's tough. What do you even give to Seeking? A regional form? A Z move? Seekium Z as a Z crystal would have sounded cool at least. A Gigantamax form could have worked, but imagine a giant Seeking floating above a stadium. Kinda awkward, right? I get why GameFreak skipped this one. 59. How did Starmie get nothing? Seriously, it's got a mysterious design, psychic typing, cool animations, but no Mega, no regional form, not even a stat buff. I really hope Legends ZA gives Starmie the respect it deserves. 60. Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime got some solid attention. Mime Jr. as a pre-evolution, and Galarian Mr. Mime, which evolves into Mr. Rhyme. Yeah, Galarian Mr. Mime kind of stole the spotlight, but Mr. Mime is still remembered, and let's not forget it was Ash's Pokemon in the anime too. And of course, the conspiracy theories about Mr. Mime being Ash's father. Haha! 61. No doubt, Scyther is remembered. It got 2 evolutions, Caesar in Gen 2, and then Cleaver in Legends Arceus. That's rare. You can evolve Scyther 2 different ways now, which keeps it relevant across generations. Solid respect from GameFreak here. 62. Jinx. Jinx got Smoochum as a pre-evo, but that's really it. A Mega was planned but eventually cancelled. That stings. Honestly, I've never really liked Jinx, or Smoochum for that matter. And yeah, the less we say about the Black Jinx controversy, the better. But still, from a gameplay perspective, Jinx deserved something more. 63. Electabuzz. Elekid and Electivire make Electabuzz feel like part of a full, proper evolution line now. Electivire especially brought back the edge Electabuzz had in Gen 1. Definitely remembered, and well handled. 64. Magmar. Just like Electabuzz, Magmar got the full line. Baby form Magby and the big bad Magmortar. It's not a flashy line, but it's respected. They handled this evolution family right. 65. Pinsir Mega Pinsir was unexpected, but appreciated. It kept Pep Pinsir as a single-stage Pokemon, but made it strong enough to compete. Also, a nice touch to parallel it with Heracross, classic bug-type rivalry energy. 66. Tauros. Tauros really surprised everyone with 3 Paldean forms, Combat, Blaze, and Aqua. That's a lot of love for a Gen 1 Pokemon that never even evolved. Scarlet and Violet seriously gave Tauros the best update it could ask for. 67. Mega Gyarados made sense. This thing has always been a beast. But Johto's Red Gyarados? Now that's how you make a Pokemon legendary without being a legendary. Magikarp even got its own mobile spin-off game. Think about that. People joke that it's useless, but Magikarp has more media presence than Dragonite, and no other Pokemon has its own game. Gigantamax Lapras is just beautiful. That ice ring, the music-themed aura, it's easily one of the best-looking G-Max forms. Lapras didn't need much, but Game Freak gave it a perfect glow-up. 69. Ditto. Technically, it didn't get anything like a form or evolution, but the imposter ability made Ditto a real threat in competitive play. And let's be honest, nobody forgets Ditto. It's literally the face of Pokemon breeding. Even if it's forgotten when it comes to forms, it's remembered where it matters. And of course, Ditto also got that metal powder. 70. Eevee. Eevee's not just remembered, it's cherished. Gigantamax Eevee, 8 evolutions including fan favorites like Espeon, Sylveon, and Umbreon, plus the Let's Go Eevee game that placed it side by side with Pikachu. And don't forget the Extreme Evo Boost Z move via Evium Z. Eevee has truly earned its place as the second mascot of Pokemon after Pikachu. Game Freak clearly knows how beloved it is. 71. Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. Nothing directly for them, but do they really need anything? They were the originals, and now they've got 5 other sibling evolutions. Sure, Game Freak could have given them exclusive Z moves to balance out all the love Eevee gets, but only a handful of Pokemon even got those. So it's fine, they're still relevant. 72. Porygon. Porygon's story is kinda sad in the anime world, but Game Freak didn't forget it in the games. First came Porygon 2, then Porygon Z, both solid evolutions that kept the line alive. Still, thanks to Electric Soldier Porygon, even Porygon 2 and Porygon Z were basically exiled from the anime. They only show up in blink-and-you-miss-it cameos during movie intros. That one episode really cursed the whole line. Omastar and Kabutops. Both got nothing, and honestly, that's totally fine. Like ManJTV said, fossil Pokemon probably shouldn't get megas or special forms. They're ancient creatures, recently revived by science in the Pokemon world. It wouldn't make much sense for them to suddenly have a bond strong enough for mega evolution or exclusive forms. Sometimes it's better to leave them untouched. 74. Aerodactyl. Now this is where things feel weird. Aerodactyl did get a mega evolution, but if you think about it, it makes 0 sense. It's a fossil Pokemon. How are trainers forming mega bonds with something extinct for thousands of years? Mega Aerodactyl is cool in design, but lore-wise, kinda strange. 75. Snorlax. Snorlax is doing just fine. It got 2 things, an exclusive Z move, Pulverizing Pancake, and a beautiful Gigantamax form. Everyone loves Snorlax, and Game Freak clearly hasn't forgotten it. You'll see it in every generation, blocking roads or napping right in the middle of your journey. Classic Snorlax behavior. Literally started as the first roadblock Pokemon. 76. Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. These legendary birds got Galarian forms, and that stirred a lot of opinions. Do legendary Pokemon need regional variants? Technically no, but I get it. Galar is far from Kanto and Johto, and the designs were genuinely interesting. Fun fact, their Galarian shiny versions match the original bird's base colors. Neat callback if you ask me. 77. Dragonite. Okay, this is wild. When we wrote this, Dragonite had absolutely nothing. No mega, no special form, just pure neglect. This was the original Dragon-type final evolution, Lance's ace, Ash's precious partner. It deserved something big. And then, just before we uploaded, boom. Game Freak revealed Mega Dragonite in the Pokemon Presents of July 22nd, 2025 for Pokemon Legends ZA. Finally, they did it. Yeah, the OG Dragon finally got what it deserved. Just look at this thing. Elegant, powerful, and still so very Dragonite. The creamy wing feathers, that rainbow orb on the tail, it gives off this mythical guardian vibe. And it still feels like Dragonite, just way more majestic. And the best part? They've only revealed 1 mega so far, this one. So Dragonite got the spotlight. Deservedly. We'll take the W on this one. Mega Dragonite is real. Game Freak absolutely nailed it. 78. Mewtwo. Mewtwo got not 1, but 2 Mega Evolutions. Mega Mewtwo X and Y, and they both slap. Mewtwo's legacy is unmatched. My first memory of it was from Pokémon the first movie, and it blew my mind. Like, this is a Pokémon? That's strong and that intelligent? Yeah, it absolutely deserved all the extra attention. 79. Surprisingly, Mew got something too. Genesis Supernova, its exclusive Z move via the Munium Z. Now, I'm going to talk about Mew's origin. If you don't want to watch that part, feel free to skip to the timestamp currently on screen. And here's the fun bit. Mew's addition to the original games was actually a prank. Game Freak programmer Shigeki Morimoto secretly added Mew after removing debugging tools to free up space. It wasn't supposed to be obtainable, but a glitch made it accessible. What started as a secret turned into a global phenomenon. It wasn't even designed by Ken Sugimori at first. He later stepped in to clean up its appearance because Mew's original sprite looked too fetus-like. Crazy how one hidden Pokemon became the foundation of the entire Pokemon mythos. Mew went from dev room secret to actual legend. So that wraps up our video. Let me know in the comments if you like this one or not. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And hey, if you've got friends who are into Pokemon, don't keep it to yourself. Share the video with them too. Also, if you're planning to start playing Pokemon games and you're confused about which ones to skip and which ones to play, check out my very first video on this channel titled "Which Pokemon Games Should You Play?" Full breakdown and play order. It's the first upload on Poke, so you can find it easily. But just in case, I'll drop a link in the description or pin it in the comments. And if I remember, I'll even put it in the I button on the top right. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you again in another video. Someday, probably. Because it's early July as I'm editing this, and I still have a lot to do. Finishing the edit, uploading at the right time, and making some promo shorts for it. And why do I take months to upload? Well, because I'm lazy. But yeah, hope I get to meet you all again in 2025.